Okay, today we are here with Salisha Oldbull. She is one of the artists of the book that we're talking about, Elk Morning Counts His First Coup. There are three artists in this book, and Salisha's artwork really makes up a large portion of the book. And she's agreed to talk to us about her artwork and her past with becoming an artist here for the Indigenous culture. And so, Salisha, I just thought I'd start off with what tribes are you affiliated with?
I am Crow and I'm Salish. My dad, he's Crow. He's full-blood Crow. So I'm exactly half Crow. And my mom, she's Salish, Bitterroot Salish, and the Salish and tribes, they occupy all of the northwest of like the United States, but they're different names of tribes, and they go by the language group. And our tribe that's in Montana is the eastern most Salish band, so we're called the Bitterroot Salish. So that's where my mom is from, and that's where I spent most of my life. But I was born in Billings, and my first language was Crow, so I have a heavy or a slight Crow accent because of that. But I don't know it now, because when my mom and dad, they broke up when I was a little girl, my mom, we don't speak Crow, like we speak Salish, so that went away when I was a little kid, that language part. But those are my two tribes. And yep.
Did you grow up on the reservation then?
Yeah, so where I was born, we lived in Billings for a little while, but then my parents kind of did this thing that I really appreciated it, but sometime I think it's like common with like Indigenous children. Well, my mom she's still really young, and so she was still in college, and so she moved me down to Lodge Grass with my grandparents. And then I went to 1.5 years of school there, because I went to Head Start, and then I went to half a kindergarten, and then halfway through that year, so I was down in Lodge Grass that whole time. Halfway through that year, then we moved to Arlee, which is on the Flathead Reservation, and then we moved to a town called St. Ignatius after we'd been there for a little while, but that's where I grew up.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you were pretty close to your family growing up. Can you talk about that a little bit with us?
Yeah, so my grandparents on both sides had a huge impact on me, and I'm fortunate that I got to spend a lot of time with them as a child, because grandparents just seem to be a lot more patient. And I think they have a different perspective on life, and I think that allows a kid to have a warm parenting experience. And not only that, but you get to hear a lot of stories. You get to hear things about past family members that have gone on. And so I spent a lot of time with my dad's parents when I was a kid, because if ever I was to go visit my dad traveling back and forth, he would be working. And so I would prefer to be with my grandparents, and then we would just hang out, and they were cool. They remind me of Willy Wonka's grandparents, where they hang out in the living room all the time. and they just kind of sit and chill like all day. And then when they weren't doing that, they would like to go to Billings and um, get a hotel room for no reason at all, and just hang out in the hotel room there. But anyway, you would hear them talking, and if somebody came over, it was all in Crow. So even though I had lost that, I got to hear it quite a bit. And then my mom's mom, I spent a lot of time with her. So in Salish, our mom's mom is our yaya. And she's the one that taught me how to bead. She taught me a lot of my first experiences with art were with her.
It sounds like they really, they really maybe inspired you to become an artist. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, my grandfather, so I guess in Crow it would be Kage. Um, he he had a couple of really cherished skills, and one of those was he made arrows, which is a pretty important thing in Crow culture. And to do that, you have to have a right to do that. And then once you get that, then I think you only have like, I think it's 4 times you can pass that on. So he did that. He did that for, at least I know for my dad. My dad was able to acquire that right from him. It's like a gift. Like when you get it, it's like a gift that somebody gives to you, but then you only have 4 times. So 4 is kind of a sacred number for Crow people. And when he wasn't making arrows, which is a pretty detailed situation, like to gather the resources for it is it's a pretty specific skill set. When he wasn't doing that, he really enjoyed making replicas of he called them artifacts. I was trying to think the word that he used to use. He called them artifacts, and he would make like spears or bows.
Wow.
Or he would make shorter weapons too, like axes. There was one that had like a fancy axe at one end, and then he would wrap it with beads, and he would just he would do all that, and then he would go trade or sell to trading posts in Montana or Wyoming. And so whenever I would visit him, that's what he was doing. He was gathering stuff for his craft, or he would be selling it or trading. I don't know. He was always into that, or he would be beading. And then my yaya, her job, her employment was at Salish Kootenai College. She was one of the first teachers at the Salish Kootenai College, and she taught beading. And she did that for many years. And so I would be with her most of the time. And then in the summer, she would go up to the woods and camp out for a minimum of like a week. And then it used to be longer. It used to be like all summer, like months. And she would just sit there and teach beading. She knows like charcoal pencil work, and also watercolor paint. So a lot of the first time that I worked with any type of medium, it was because she would just have it, and then she'd be like showing me how, oh, this is how you do this, and she would draw them, and then she would just let me be for who knows how long, and I'd be sitting there trying to draw something or do something. But she would get me started on beading projects, and we just hang out and visit, and she would tell me stories about her yaya, or think it would be Tata.